what's up, everybody? This is your boy, Super M, and this is the Scrubs to Dubs stream. We got a very special guest with us today. For everybody who knows me, knows myself, I love me some Ganryu, and I've just been trying to learn this game, Tekken, and this quest always continues. And when I tell you, I've been out here trying to find some masters, some senseis, to teach myself and to teach you guys a little bit of Tekken. And we already found McJump. He already came in and taught us a little bit of Eliza last time. And this time we got a very special guest. Boss Juice himself. Ladies and gentlemen, y'all seen him whoop my behind, especially with Mike. Yo, Boss Juice, tell everybody what's up, bro.
What's going on, everybody? What's going on out there, world?
Chilling, man, chilling. Hey, so, for those of you who don't know, on this stream, we like to teach a lot of Tekken. And now that I found one of the senseis here, everybody, I hope y'all gonna really love some Ganryu. But before we get into it, Boss Juice, I want to tell us a little bit about yourself, where you come from, what brought you to maining Ganryu, you know, all that good backstory history stuff.
So Ganryu is a character that I've actually liked ever since T6, when I started to look into the competitive scene a little bit more. Started out and has always played like King and Jack, but over the course of time, like I was like, okay, well, you know, there's some guys here that actually play Ganryu, and I was like, you know what, this character actually looks cool. Like I was like, I understand that he's slow, but this character actually does damage. He got good mix-up, and you know, in a lot of situations, you know, he puts you in some really uncomfortable situations a lot of times. So that's where it kind of came from. That's why I like Ganryu. And of course, he came in Tekken 7. I was like, let's go.
Yeah, dog. So how hyped were you when he dropped in Tekken 7? Like once the announcement popped off, like where were you? And run me through that moment.
Oh, I was super happy. Like I was like, when I saw Ganryu, I was like, okay. I didn't really get a chance to play with him like that in T6 because, like I said, I was focused on King and Jack. But when I saw him in T7, I was like, I can actually do this with Ganryu now. I said, now's my time to kind of, you know, shine a little bit with Ganryu. I'm gonna take this character and I'm gonna actually, you know, show some guys what I can actually do with my Ganryu. So, you know, and people weren't really like, you know, playing. They're like, oh, Ganryu, Ganryu this, Ganryu that. I was like, nah, I'm gonna show you guys. Don't worry.
Look, I feel you 100%
hey,
on that. Look, I was sitting here. I didn't even think Ganryu was coming out, to be honest, man. Once I saw the new fit, I literally, my roommate would tell you, I jumped up. I cleared at least 6 feet in the air. Jumped clean up out the couch from sitting. And I'm like, yo, that's the dude. That's the dude. I've been waiting for this because I'm a fan of judo and a lot of throwing arts. And Ganryu, even though he's not really like a grappler, he does have enough grapple elements to really be like, yo, I'm about to toss some boys around with this E Honda dude. And I had the same thought. I say, look, if I'm going to take Tekken seriously, if I'm going to learn this game, then I'm definitely going to do a Ganryu because, A, nobody likes to play him. Everybody discounts him, right? People think he's a trash character because he's slow, right? But just like you, I realized back in the day, I didn't even know how to play the game, but I just know his hits looked heavy, right? And I used to be able to trap my friends, and I didn't even understand frames. I didn't even know he was a plus frame poke monster. I didn't even know any of that stuff. I just know I could bully people in Tekken with him. And I told myself, you know what? I'm going to be out there and be one of the greats too. At least as great as I can be. And then, of course, I had the pleasure to talk to King J a little bit when he was here in Atlanta. And he was telling me about Ganryu, and he told me to watch a few other people. I immediately started subscribing to his content when he started putting out there all the Teach Me series, all of his Ganryu notes, and I just completely hit Discord. And I'm like, I need to learn everything about this character. And ever since then, people say they hate him. I don't know why. He was trash before. They hate him now. I don't, you know.
Because he's a pervert.
My roommate in the back.
Hey, look. You got the naysayers out there, you know, they're gonna have their moments against Ganryu. But yeah, you're definitely right. Ganryu, he hits hard. He hits hard. He makes you, you know, you're scared of him. Because like even when I fight against him, I'm like, okay, I don't know how this person's gonna play against me with this Ganryu. Like I even still get scared at times if I'm not playing Ganryu against another one.
Oh,
absolutely.
You know,
sometimes I feel like, okay, he's just that he can be that dangerous. He definitely can be that dangerous, especially if you sleep on him. So
Absolutely, absolutely. All right, so let
gotta pay your respects to Ganryu.
so for everybody out there, right quick, if you're joining in on Twitch, we got a move by command out there that we make a lot of use of. We got a lot of guides, right? And in these tutorial teach me series, just to kind of keep them all in order and keep them succinct, what I like to do is tell everybody to jump in the chat and just follow me for a little bit. So what we're gonna do is, where's my chat? I done lost the chat. Where's that? Hold up, bam. There we go. So if I'm gonna go ahead and type in exclamation point overviews, and this is gonna be a doc that we have that just kind of goes over some overviews. Now we're talking about Ganryu and a little bit of his traits. I want to check to see if you agree with this overview we got typed up here. This is a community guide made by Ferg. You know, Ferg has been doing a lot of work for a long time, putting in a lot of information out there for individual characters. But I'm gonna go straight to Ganryu and Boston. Let me see if you agree with this assessment real quick. And shout outs to D Weave, always the first one in the chat. What's up, dog? Hey, look, I'm telling you, D Weave. After today, you better not lose to Ganryu no more. You should know all the stuff. Shouldn't be nothing coming as a surprise. We're gonna blow this thing wide open. All right. So, Ganryu, Julia's #1 simp, pervert, returns and he's as oppressive as ever. Right? Ganryu is really strong at pressuring the opponent and being consistently on top of them with his massive plus frames and strong approaching mids. Ganryu is quite unique for a Tekken character, as his jab is slower than the average jab. I think it's about 12 frames if I'm not mistaken, but it's more plus on block. That's +3 if I'm not mistaken. He has quite a few strings with follow-ups making the opponent freeze up, especially off of his down forward 1 string. I use that move liberally. And his down forward 3 low, which is a +5 on hit low that forces crouch and is barely punishable on block. A little punishable, but, you know, barely. Not a lot of people can punish it from that position. So this leads Ganryu to having really strong offensive poking, especially at the wall where the opponent can't backdash. That down forward 3 is a godsend there, boy, I tell you.
Oh, yes.
Ooh, I love that move. Ganryu got a new stance in this game, the Taichi stance, which makes his mix-up and poking game a lot scarier to deal with, unless you know how to sidestep right crouch. Ganryu got a new stance, scary to deal with. When the opponent gets scared or frustrated of Ganryu's low poking, he has really strong mids to keep them in check. Ganryu can really deplete your life bar fast if you cannot get him off of you enough through his barrage of pokes and delayable strings. His infamous clap, the forward 1+2, is a safe high launcher with good range due to his forward motion, excellent for whiff punishing and tagging the opponent randomly out of their approach. His carry is surprisingly very good, which definitely helps him with his wall game, helps to set that up, and his punishment is quite decent too, with a knockdown for a 10 frame punisher, strong mix up at 12 frame, and a full crouch launcher at 14 frames. His range isn't quite there, but as he's an up-close character, I mean, that's kind of his design. So he's relying on the player being able to pick the moments to go in, and for me, I would add being very good at movement. What do you agree with that assessment? Would you add anything to that?
I do agree with that assessment. There are a lot of things that Ganryu has, and there are a lot of things historically, of course, Ganryu suffered from in the past and still suffers from today. So yes, I do definitely agree with that assessment. That 4-4 1+2, a lot of people may not even know the startup on that. On that is a launcher, it can be as fast as 13 frames.
Okay, you got to. We don't have to go over how to make that faster, man, because I have not been. If I knew that was 13 frames, I'd be using a lot more.
Oh yeah, it's actually really fast. It's kind of difficult, but it can be as fast as 13 frames. So, you gotta remember that in the battle, but you have to really be looking out for a move to make that 13 frames.
Okay.
Normally it's about 15. It's like we usually on the safe side say, hey, it's 15 frames, even though the system is gonna say 13.
Okay. And those 2 extra frames are mostly because of the forward motion, right? Okay.
That is true. That is true.
Right. So they got the pros listed here as an excellent offensive poke, strong punishment, strong carry, amazing wall game. And his cons, just lack of range and struggles to make some comebacks. Recommended for players who like rushdown characters, unique play style, and strong poking. What do you think about those pros and cons?
Yes. So here's the funny thing. A little bit of history about Ganryu too. If those that may not know, coming into Tekken 7, Tekken 7 is your first game, and you're dealing with Ganryu. So historically, Ganryu never had a stance. He didn't have a stance. So now he, has a new stance, or his moves can go into stance. That makes a world of a difference in this game. That's why he's very strong, and he was actually really strong in previous Tekkens, but now he has stance. That makes him really strong now. His poking was always good. He is definitely played as a rushdown character, and yes, his con is the fact that he doesn't have a lot of range on a lot of his moves. Other characters like Fakumram, other characters, like King and just so forth, they can keep him out, and they pretty much just kind of play the keep away game. So if you're used to Street Fighter and you know about Zangief, you're just gonna keep him out.
Yeah.
Same rule applies to Gary. You don't want him up close to you. You want to give him away.
Now,
so yeah, I definitely do agree with this list here.
I got a little question for you. So I came across something in my early days. My boy Win put me onto it, and this is more of a Tekken neutral philosophy, not necessarily a hard rule. But have you heard of the philosophy of the San Sukumi, or the 3 ways?
The San Sukumi. I don't think I've heard of that philosophy.
All right, so let me run back through this to see if it makes sense to you, because I always like to throw this to people who play the game and see if it kind of like makes sense. So there's a bit of a rock, paper, scissors, and this doesn't account for movement. So I got to put that caveat in there. First, I thought this was the end all be all, but movement definitely changes this up. But this is all really with kind of like buttons here. So you have 50-50, waiting or baiting, and keep out. Right, and they kind of go in this triangle here. So 50-50, they describe it as the nature in which you attack in Tekken. You always want to keep mixing up highs and mids and lows. You don't want to constantly do mids unless you're particularly looking out for something. But the nature in which people attack generally in Tekken is with mids and lows, trying to keep the offense going. So I'm looking at a person like Horong who kind of exemplifies that, right? Come in, Mr. Rushdown, kick. And so they're saying that in order to kind of put yourself in a more advantageous position, a character who's better at keep away has an advantage in that match, because keep away beats 50-50, right? And so if you are the Horong player and you're realizing that you're fighting up against somebody with strong keep away, your only option to get over that is to go in and wait and bait. So instead of rushing in to get into that range and kick, you run in and stop, do a little backdash, run in and stop, do a sidestep, wait for them to throw out their keep out move, and then whiff punish, right? And of course, if you're playing the waiting and keep away game, then that's the other person's cue to kind of take your moments of pausing and initiate their own 50-50 offense, and the game dances around like that multiple times. Do you see that kind of pattern happening in gameplay at your level?
Yes, actually you do. I was actually I just thought about something. A lot of those, the terms, especially back in the day, from what I remember, you had your aggressor, and then there was aggressive style or aggressive style, and then you had the turtle, which is pretty much someone who's basically on the defensive all the time, who's trying to use movement, and then you had someone who basically versatile between the two. They didn't necessarily have a specific name for that style, but someone who, you basically would change up the game. So, normally Tekken is 3 rounds. So you may be the aggressive round 1, but then you may be, turtle round 2. And that can change depending. And you're pretty much just, kind of baiting to see what an opponent is doing. And then round 3 is like, okay, well, I have this. Now I'm going to start, this person is swinging. Now I'm going to basically change up that style again to basically whiff punish or bait, or hey, I have enough data to collect that I can be aggressive now because I understand this person's not going to react in this situation. So yeah, that happens. That definitely happens.
Okay. So I was wondering, because that was kind of how I was learning Tekken, and let's see. Is it Edward? Hold on, wait. Let me double check the chat here. I've got 3 sources of chat coming in here. Edward Maxwell, do you mean playing footsies? Yes, we are definitely talking about the nature of footsies and some of the intricacies. A lot of people who come in thinking footsies think of it think of it in a very like rudimentary way. Like, am I going to go in and attack, or am I not, or am I going to, you know? Oh snap! My bad, yo, Iceman. My bad. I'm looking on Facebook right now, and I just see the name, and I'm just kind of reading it. Let's jump it up in the chat. But yeah, no, we definitely trying to unwrap the mysteries here for footsies, at least from my understanding, because a lot of people at my level and below, they're looking at footsies as, do I jump in and do I just go in and attack, or do I just wait or the infamous, let me just dance around for no apparent reason on the outside. So when you mentioned that Ganryu would like to rush down, like to get in there, I just kind of wanted to kind of put that out there for folks, at least some of the ones who've been watching the stream, because we have referenced kind of like this Sansakumi philosophy. I forgot who it was. It was a French player that put it out there, and I just thought it made so much sense to kind of describe that for new players. Like, hey man, I'm coming in trying to be offensive. Don't stick in there with me and try to press buttons. Instead, if as a beginner level, before you start learning a lot of the movement techniques that Mike would teach you, right? Try to focus on keep out, or if this is the type of character you use, try to use that as your advantage. If I'm playing Zafina, I'm going to play a little bit of keep out because I have strong tools in that regard. And when I play against my boy D-Weave, he's actually in the class with you. I use a lot of keep out against him, and I know Harang is not really good at that range, so I have that advantage, and I try to keep that upper hand as much as I can throughout the match. But Iceman, appreciate you jumping in on the chat, bro.
What's going on, Iceman?
Yeah, so we got a lot of people watching here today, so let's get into it. So on Twitch, we have a MooBot for overviews, as we just went through, but we also have a MooBot for guides. This is the Tekken Online community guide, and I do like to use it as a good reference for new players because everything is just kind of small and succinct. So let's go ahead and jump into the practice mode right now, so we can kind of go over some of these moves and pokes, as well as some of the reasoning behind why they may or may not be the important moves. So let's go ahead and jump in real quick.